It's another beautiful Sunday afternoon. This is Robbie Mines. Welcome. My name is Ebuka Obiuchendo. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're over a month now since the federal government temporarily suspended the activities of Twitter here in Nigeria. Still no headway has been made there. A lot of Nigerians are hoping that this does not snowball into something much worse with regards to freedom of speech and, of course, the media. Hopefully this gets resolved as quickly as possible. COVID-19, of course, is still very much a pandemic across the world. We're seeing very crazy and scary numbers in so many countries. We're hearing that I think South Africa had their highest number yesterday of daily infections since the pandemic started last year. So that should be a cause of worry for everybody. So hopefully everybody out there is doing their best to stay safe. We are still sort of in a good space, I want to believe, here in Nigeria. The NCDC says they're still on top of things. We hope things stay this way and probably even get better. We don't want to snowball back, to where things were at the start of the pandemic last year here in Nigeria. But let's kick off the show today. Brain drain has been a sort of a part of Nigerian history. There was a serious phase, I think, in the 80s, in the military era, when a lot of Nigerians left the country and moved abroad, for greener pastures. There was even a very famous song then about Andrew checking out, which sort of characterized what the thing was at the time. That seems to be happening again, and there's a serious sort of hunger by a lot of young Nigerians to exit the country and start a life anywhere else but in Nigeria. So we're going to be talking about that today. I have joined by two guests, one in the diaspora, one here in Nigeria, and they're going to be giving a bit of a debate on this topic. Max Okereke, if you can hear me, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Ibuka. Thanks for having me on the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining me. So just before we go too far, and I just want to know, when did you leave Nigeria? Why did you leave?
Oh, okay. I was out in 2016, and my why actually. Okay, basically, it's been it's different struggles. Whatever it is you're doing in whatever industry that you function in, and I've been in broadcasting for a while, and I remember a couple of years ago working with a particular media organization where I wasn't getting any type of remuneration, and I was given the impression that I was given the exposure and all of that stuff, and I was also an associate producer on the show as well too, doing this beautiful and amazing things, no form of remunerations at all, and with all the logistics and welfare, everything just basically was just on me and all of that. And I had to go through this for like almost like 2 years, So that and every other, thing aside. And also I was to have another, opportunity with another media organization as well. After we were done filming the pilot episode and everything. And then I told myself, I said, if this works, then I know that it's a sign from God or the universe in a way. They're like, okay, you can just keep doing what you're doing and all of that. But and then I told myself, okay, if it doesn't work, then that's like a sign for you to like probably, change environments and try this somewhere else, So eventually, after the pilot episode of everything and the project wasn't, approved because management at the time was, even retrenching and wasn't even looking at adding any more, shows to the belt and all of that. So I was like, okay, let me, take the leap of faith and try my career outside the country and see how well that I do and all of that. And ever since then, it's been wonderful. There's a lot of, contributing factors to this whole thing. I feel like Nigeria at the moment is not an enabling environment, especially for creatives and all of that. I was listening to you begin the show with the Twitter ban still very much on. Twitter being the only tool that creatives are using to like get their works out there has been banned. What are they going to do? What other available means do they have to market themselves in a social media age where we're literally advantaged to like put our works out there for people to see. So yeah, it's a whole lot of factors around that. It's not an enabling environment at all. Everything literally edges against you. The more you
Okay.
work, the more
Yeah,
what?
sorry to cut you in there. I mean, I hear your point, and it might be valid, but at the same time, there's the argument, especially from the federal government, saying we all have to stay here to build the country. Like I said, even in the 80s, when the military administration was pretty heavy here in Nigeria, we witnessed this
Right.
happening. But it was those who stayed back and fought for democracy that got us the democracy that we are, trying to build now. If we all left, what would have been of the country? So what are your thoughts on that?
It's a very good point as well. But the thing is, like everybody cannot, view the country at the same time. I feel like according to destiny or something, maybe it is in the calendar for certain people to do that. Okay, so while others are inspired to remain and keep fighting and all of that, maybe some of us can be functioning from another environment and we're waiting for that to happen. But the thing is that somebody has to do that. But yet at the same time, it is all frustrating. And they're like, making all of these statements that basically they're not even living for it. They're not even like, doing it. I feel like the whole thing is just like, hypocritical. Like everything is literally edging against you. Everything, everything. I remember when I was in Europe, just was it like 2 years ago? One of my uncles, was just talking about this amazing project that he wanted to do in our home state, in Nigeria. And, he was just outlining the whole challenges that he had to go through and everything, in setting up what he wanted to do. And this is somebody who's making a lot of progress in his county in Germany and doing so much work. And just hearing him speak, he's so heartbroken that he can't even be allowed to do this in Nigeria, like without, various drama and, you just have to know somebody in government to be able to succeed. You just have to, have somebody in high places to be able to like, do what you have to do. It is all frustrating. And then coming back to Germany, like he was just all down, all motivation and inspiration, everything down totally. And he was like, you know what? I'm not going back there. I would just remain here and be a blessing and keep doing what I'm doing. And it's really sad because
All right.
the West, every other part of the world is enjoying everything that we have to offer Nigerians actually.
Okay, I'll come back to you now, but we're also joined by Joyce Daniels, who's a social engineering practitioner here in Nigeria. Joyce, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Ebuka. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure you've been listening to the conversation. Of course, you are here in Nigeria. What is keeping you here? Because like he said, there's so many reasons for people to want to leave, especially young Nigerians who are trying to start their lives. I mean, if anybody who's on social media sees Canada trend every other week because of the hunger for young Nigerians to want to just leave and start what they call a more comfortable life outside of Nigeria. What's keeping you here?
Ebuka, what's keeping me here is my responsibility toward building the country. I was 8 years old when I was being taught under the sun on the assembly line, Ikosi Sikeleni, because a man called Nelson Mandela had just been released from prison in trying to make things work in his country, right? And so at that young age, I had the understanding that Nigeria needs me and as many other Nigerians as are willing, able, and ready to make the sacrifice for Nigeria. So that's what's keeping me. It's been a long time coming. In my field as a speaker and as a social engineering practitioner, I have the opportunity to make a change in helping people re-engineer their mindsets to re-engineer society. Ebuka, I've worked as a master of ceremonies for 14 years. I have trained over 1,000 masters of ceremonies. If I left, I don't know who would have trained them. I'm here because I'm asking what I can do to make the difference and not necessarily what the country can do for me. Let me also make it very clear, Ebuka, that I am not against anybody living in the country because we are all different. We all have our different tracks. We all have our different thresholds. We all have our different thresholds for what we can accommodate per time. So as a mindset coach, I'm also training people to deal with issues every single day. How you deal with one issue might be how you deal with others. I'm dealing with poor internet here right now, Ika. How I respond to it, even though it might be a small issue, is how I would respond to other bigger issues. So I'm here for what I can do and what I can give to Nigeria.
Very valid points there, but I mean, not many people are able to stay as resilient as you have. Like we had Max talk about earlier, that people who have had jobs either lost them and didn't find any headway. I mean, you are able to do what you're doing because you're an entrepreneur and you run your business. People look for work endlessly, you know. How do you convince someone like that, for example, who's probably gone through years of just a tough cycle in their careers or with whatever it is because of the country they live in? We can't lie about.
So I can give information. I can give.
Go on.
Sorry, Book, I lost you there for a moment.
You can go on. You can go on.
The last thing you said.
Okay, I'm just saying, what do you tell someone like that who just believes, you know, that I can't sort of bloom or blossom because I live in this country?
Like I said,
Can you hear me?
Ebuka. Okay, I can hear you now. Please say that.
Okay. I was asking, what do you tell a young Nigerian who's trying to start a new life or start a life or sort of just come out of whatever tough spot there and tell them that they can still thrive in a country like this where they feel like they can't?
As a mindset coach, as a social engineer, I'm trying to piece together what you said. How can I convince someone who has gone through a tough time to stay, right?
Yeah.
So let me say that conviction is a response. I will give information. I can teach about steps to building confidence and courage. I can teach about understanding what we call enlightened self-interest, where we're doing things that we do not just for our gain, but for greater good. I can teach about the fact that it is the Nigerian citizens, it is citizens of any country in the world that build their country. So it is Nigerian citizens that will build Nigeria. Of course, we're very religious people. I can cite several instances in the Bible where people, especially the children of Israel, had to come back to their own land to build their land. I can talk about the fact that staying in Nigeria gives us kind of like low entry barriers to being known, to being great, because there's not a lot of greatness. So when the few people like you and I, Ebuka, stay back, guess what? We grow very fast because we fight through. When we leave, we can get lost in the crowd, depending, of course, on what your purpose is, your vision is. I can take you through an experience to understand your personal vision, purpose, values, and see if you can align. That's why I made the disclaimer earlier that it's not about staying or leaving. It's wherever you are, how relevant are you? Are you building the community where you are? And then, of course, if you are in Nigeria, how can your skills, your talents, your gifts build? I can help you develop the fighting skills because you need to learn how to fight through, how to stay through. And there are processes, there are linguistic processes, there are neurological processes to engage, to grow. Ebuka, I can also talk about the fact that we win when we stay to build, when we together learn how to build. I can also teach the fact that, of course, we hear it all the time, what doesn't kill you will only make you stronger. But for you to become stronger, you need to learn how to become stronger. None of us learns to, you don't start driving because you're 65. You start driving because you learn how to drive. You don't become strong because you're a Nigerian. You learn how to be strong. So there are things to do to learn to be stronger. And that's what I teach as an individual and, of course, as an organization. And we're seeing it working. It comes from the family. It comes from...
Okay. I think we lost Joyce there. We'll come back to her if we still have her. But let me go back to you now, Max. Still talking about, a few of the points she raised there, about who's going to do the work if nobody stays back here. It's very hard for, as a Nigerian, yes, we know we get a lot of remittances from Nigerians who stay abroad. It's probably one of the biggest sources of revenue for the country. But at the same time, being back here and doing the work is extremely vital. And it's very hard for government, for example, to understand why, being out there should be the option for a lot of people. Yes, we blame government sometimes, or most of the time, for the reason why things are not working here. But do you see a way as a Nigerian living in New York now, how you are sort of working to make Nigeria better?
Oh yeah, I will be, it will be a wonderful pleasure for me to talk about that. So now I'm a media owner. I'm the founder and CEO of Sproplay Media LLC right here in New York. And we have the arm of a Sproplay internationally and Sproplay Africa. So we're basically into, pop culture reviews, critiquing films and music and all of that, everything that has to do with pop culture. And I'm happy to, announce that, Netflix just partnered with us, recently. So here's what I did. I made sure that all of my staff writers, 80% of my staff writers are all, based in Nigeria. So that's like, job opportunities for them and, contributing to the economy. So I made sure of that. I could have as well gone to, the New York State University or Brooklyn College to get, interns or writers, employ full-time staff to write and, work and all of that. But I had to come down to Nigeria and we have just the staff in the UK. So yeah, I feel like every Nigerians in diaspora, whatever it is that you're doing as an entrepreneur, or whatever, just think home. It's also, a level where you can create opportunities for people back home. There's a lot of young people. There's a lot of, creatives who are seeking for opportunities. So if they cannot find the jobs, right there in Nigeria remotely, they can be encouraged to take these jobs internationally and remain where they are and basically take care of themselves and still have that hope for their career and all of that and take care of their families as well too. So yeah, that's my own personal contribution. And I strongly implore, every Nigerian in diaspora to do the same thing. As long as your job accommodates, remote functionality and all of that, please think Nigeria, think, our young creatives and all of that. So that is my, contribution. I would continue to do that and, delegate managerial, duties and all of that with Nigerian creatives and everything. And pretty soon we're growing really big and all of that. And it's gonna be very big in Lagos. And,
right.
And yeah, at the end of the day, I wouldn't regret the move and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, let's just get a final word now from Joyce, if you're back with us. Joyce, I just want to know, there's a recent report by QZ that said that the current brain drain in Nigeria will be felt for 2 generations. Is that something that worries you?
It doesn't worry me because, well, before I answer, please let me just celebrate Max. Thank you for the work you're doing. It doesn't worry me because, Ebuka, you and I are here and we are raising our children. And we're doing the work of going to schools, going to young people to try our best to make them see possibilities. And with the help of our brothers and sisters all over the world, we're showing them that we can. The reason I say it doesn't worry me because the word worry in itself is debilitating. It makes me lose energy. No, it gives me fuel rather to do more work, to show that there is something that needs to be done and done urgently. Ebuka, I know that one of the reasons why we are succeeding as entrepreneurs, as young people, in spite of all the challenges, we're seeing, well, reports have shown that we're seeing spikes in enterprise grow in Nigeria in the past 5 to 6 years. It's because we are so beaten and battered and thrown to the wall. Guess what? We are bouncing back to fight back by being more creative, by being more energetic, by giving more solutions for ourselves. We're trying to fix our own problems. So no, it doesn't worry me, Ebuka. It actually gives me hope that we are going to make it. We are resilient, strong people collectively. And guess what? We know that help is not coming from anywhere. We know that we're the ones going to fix our problems. So guess what? We're going to create more solutions. Ebuka, we've seen it happen. We will see it happen even more. and it's fuel. It's fuel. It's fun. It's food for us. We're growing.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joyce, for that nice way to end this. It would be nicer, though, if we could be such entrepreneurs without having to bounce off the wall and just do it nicely.
It will be
thank you
so
very
much
much.
nicer. It will be so much nicer.
Thank you very much, Joyce. Thank you very much, Max, for all the great things you're doing. We're going to take a quick break now. We're right back. Please don't.